Okay, welcome to the Inkpulp Podcast. And today I've got another art demonstration for you, a little art lesson, which ties into my Inkpulp instruction business. More on that as this goes along. I want to cue you into what's going on first. So I'm doing these series of Batman paintings, small, quick studies using different techniques. I think if you've been following me on social media, you've seen me use primarily one technique over the past few months. And, when I got started painting, I gravitated towards watercolor at first. And I haven't been using watercolor that much lately. I've been enjoying acrylics and gouache mainly. But I was itching to get back to watercolor. I do enjoy it quite a bit. And I'm trying to achieve, or my goal in doing this is to achieve a look or a technique similar to that of, say, Muth or George Pratt in the end. Now, I know that's a very high bar to try to attain, but it's a look I'm going for, a technique I'm trying to do. It's looser. It allows the paint to do its thing, which I think when you're working with watercolor is really important, to not try to control the paint too much. And this technique stems from some of the techniques Bert Silverman taught, and really defined that look. Like even Kent Williams and then when they worked in watercolor had that. So initially what I'm doing here is I'm laying down a brown, and this is I'm pretty sure this is a Dutch technique, but I've heard of these browns also called French browns, so I'm not sure exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's a French technique where you lay down your values with a brown first and then paint on top. And the brown I'm using is Van Dyke brown. And this is made by Holbein, and I find it to be a lot more dynamic than sepia. Sepia is a great brown to use for stuff like this too, but I don't know. There's something about Van Dyke brown. It's really earthy. It creates a muddiness that I enjoy, and so I'm just building my values as I go, and so that my darks are clearly established, and then I'll wash over it. You see me do a technique. You see that paper towel in my hand? That's important to keep close by, because when you end up laying down too much, you can easily just dab it right up. And yes, I'm letting the strokes show in the painting. I think that's what using this surface, this Strathmore 500 series Bristol board, or this might be the mixed media board. This is the mixed media board, yeah. I want in the end for there to be a lot of strokes seen. I don't want it to be smooth and clean like I've been doing with my paintings. So I first laid in just an initial light and dark, and now I'm going into the dark areas and defining the values within the dark areas, where some areas will be lighter, some will be a little darker. And not trying to be too precise. You can see on his forehead, there's here I'm lifting. So that's it. When you hit a wet area against a wet area and it starts to bleed when you're don't want it to, just dry out the tip of your brush, fray it, and kind of drink up the edge there. And I'm letting it dry a little more now, but I sucked it up pretty good. You can see it's a little fuzzy now, but I'll clean that up later. And I'm trying to keep the focus in on Batman's face. And I'm also trying to see that you can also lift with your fingertips. That's a neat little technique. In this area, I'm going to go really sloppy because, like I was just saying, the focus is Batman's face. And so what I'm doing here is, so I'm establishing the cape and the costume as darker than the skin. So I haven't touched the skin yet. And that's for a very specific reason, because I do want that to appear lighter in the end. So first I'm just trying to establish my darks. So I know, like now when I'm going into this area, I know there's some really black darks. So that's what I'm establishing now. And those are just the teeth and the gums. And I'm trying to lay in, see there I covered that fuzz. Some darks in the skin, but I still want the skin to appear lighter than the mask. I want it to look different. So I think I've achieved that. So from here, I believe my brown work is done. Yep. And yeah, I didn't film myself there, but I just threw a brown wash behind him. And now I'm going to add my Prussian blue, which is another Holbein color, which is a really ice cold blue, which I love working with the Van Dyke brown and Prussian blue. When they mix, they create this kind of greenish mud that's kind of cool. And when the blue shines through, it's so cold and luminous against the warmth of that Van Dyke brown. And it really pops. So now I'm coming into the mask, and I am thinking about how much paint I'm laying down. It's kind of a thicker layer. I really want that color to sit there nicely. And you can paint right over the brown as long as you don't push it around too much. You won't get a mix. You won't get too much of a mixing. But I do want some. Again, I want that very organic look that comes through working this way, where the paint gets money. If you think of George Pratt's like Enemy Ace graphic novel or Havoc. Okay, so right here, when it's really wet, if you dry the tip of your brush, see I'm pulling out the wetness with the paper towel from the tip of the brush and going in and lifting out highlights. That's a really nice watercolor technique. So as I was saying, the final look is it's kind of like a Wolverine Havoc Meltdown, Muth and Kent Williams look, or George Pratt Enemy Ace. That's what I'm going for. I'm not saying I'm on that level ready to achieve it yet, but here I'm just lifting out some highlights. And then I'm going to finish up the Prussian blue on the bottom of the mask. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see it now. I mean, I know when I'm painting, like my mind's moving 1,000,000 miles a minute. It's a tricky thing about painting is you got to learn to relax when you're doing it. It can be pretty stressful, especially with something like watercolor, which is kind of like this wild animal you can't control. Now I'm adding in a little flesh tone onto the skin, which mixed with the warm Van Dyke brown should read very natural, and it does. And then the last stage is I'm trying to think of a color that I can wash across everything in the background to make things pop. And I went with a rose violet, another Holbein color. It's a palette I discovered years ago that I really enjoy. This rose violet, Prussian blue, and Van Dyke brown. I don't know, the colors seem to harmonize really well together. The violet, it's warmish, coolish, more on the red than on the blue side. The Prussian blue is just ice cold, not warm at all. And then the Van Dyke brown is a warmish brown. And in the end, that's what you're left with. So thank you all for watching today. Welcome to Inkpulp Instruction, the art of learning art.